This is my community mapping project for Glennon Heights Elementary School. This is the school I teach at, and it was built in 1958. We do kindergarten through sixth grade, and we provide free all-day kindergarten, which we are one of the few schools to do that in our area. There are about 242 students, so we are a fairly small school. We grow every year. When I started there, there were just one teacher at each grade level. There are now two teachers at kindergarten, two at first, two at second, and next year there will also be two teachers at third, and then one fourth, one fifth, and one sixth. We are approximately 60.4% white, 28.3% Hispanic Latino, and 8.7% other. And that is all information we get from our surveys we send out at the beginning of the year. We are not quite title, but we're very close. Officially, we are 64% free and reduced lunch, but we are typically closer to 67 to 68% free and reduced lunch. We are 9% of our students are English language learners, and 15% of our students are special education. A lot of that comes from, we have an SED lab, which provides a place for students that have significant emotional needs for them to be able to learn. They are typically integrated fully into the classroom. However, there is a lab if they are unable to handle a full day in the classroom. They can go into the lab for a few hours a day. We also are provided with paras that we have to help us as we're in the classroom, as these students do need much more attention paid to them and to help them stay on track than the gen ed students in the classroom. So a lot of that 15% of special education does come from that SED lab. This is some of the housing near Glennon Heights Elementary. A lot of it is apartment buildings. There are also a few duplexes as well as single family homes. Glennon Heights sit right in the middle of a suburban area with mostly single family homes, but just a couple blocks in each direction there are many different apartment homes in which a lot of students' families do live in. More near Glennon Heights Elementary, like I said, Glennon Heights sits in the middle of a suburban neighborhood off of Alameda between Kipling and Union, right in the middle of Lakewood. Right across Alameda is the Federal Center as well as St. Anthony's Hospital. There's also a pool and a park. A lot of our students that do come to Glennon Heights Elementary are choice enrolled. A lot of them are not from our articulation area. Part of that is because their parents might have jobs at the Federal Center or at St. Anthony's Hospital. Another reason for that is, like I said earlier, we are one of the few schools that do have free all-day kindergarten. My principal does try and make a deal with the parents and the families that if they do come for their free all-day kindergarten, they will stay through sixth grade, as that really affects the amount of teachers that we hire for our school, what we can plan on for the years to come. And we start to make relationships with those families that do come, even if they are open enrolled. And it is really nice to be able to have them throughout their elementary career. Glennon Heights is also surrounded by a few different stores and gas stations. One store that a lot of students do talk about is the Ark Thrift Store. A lot of them do go shopping there. There's a Mennonite church, which is also our off-campus evacuation site if there's ever an emergency at Glennon Heights. That is just right around the corner, so that is where we head. There are gas stations on almost every corner, which we do see students bring snacks in from there, as well as the Walgreens on the corner. Chips, candy bars, sodas, things like that, which does end up being a problem as we have a grant from the Healthy Schools program through Jefferson County. So a lot of these snacks that families do buy for their children, we have to replace them with healthy snacks due to our commitment to the Jeffco Healthy Schools. So that does pose to be a little bit of a problem. We try to tell them if they are going to eat those snacks that aren't the best for them to try and wait until they get home, or if their mom or dad really say that it's okay for them to have that rather than at school. There's also the Lakewood Police Department, which is on the way from Glennon Heights Elementary to the Belmar Public Library. It's really, really near the Lakewood Public Library. the Belmar Public Library. And there's also a Lakewood Cultural Center, which has plays and activities and different environments for students to learn about different cultures through hands-on experiences or being able to watch plays and things like that. So that is nice to have right near the library. This is the route I took from Glennon Heights Elementary to the Belmar Library. It is only about 2.7 miles, and which is about 7 minutes by car. If you can see in the other map as well, there's a lot of those shopping centers that I had talked about, a lot of chain restaurants, some grocery stores, a Ross, mostly fast food places that are available right there near the Belmar Public Library. And like I said, I went from Glennon Heights Elementary to the Belmar Public Library, which was about 2.7 miles away, 7 minutes by car, 19 minutes by bus, and 47 minutes by foot. So it really is not too far from our Glennon Heights community. And as I've also said, it's in the middle of a shopping center, which includes mostly chain restaurants, clothing stores, as well as grocery stores. When I went into the library, one of the first things that I was able to see were some different resources that they provide for people that come to the library. There are quite a few different classes throughout the day as well as in the afternoon and evening. A few of those are the Damsel in Defense, a teen writing group, a writing group for kids, family time, which has to do with usually smaller children. There's a storyteller, dancing, music, sometimes some cool things like balloon animal guy that comes in and provides entertainment for the students as well. There is Spanish story time and Spanish conversation table, which sounds like is also for native English speakers to learn more about the Spanish language and culture. So that seemed like that is something really cool that's available to not only Spanish speakers, but also English speakers that want to know more about the Spanish community that's in Lakewood. And there are also multiple public meetings, which included something like a Social Security seminar in case people are unsure of how those benefits work and need some assistance in that. The library provides people that are able to explain that for free. I interviewed a community member that has lived in the same house in the community for 55 years. It was a house that was right across the street from the school. She mentioned that she had seen a huge change in demographics. The area used to be all farm and ranch land, which is now suburbia with houses all around. So she saw it from when cattle were just ranging the area to now all these houses being built. And she is also noticing that many low-income apartments are being built more and more frequently. And some refugees coming in to stay in those places as well until they get a little bit more settled in this area. She has noticed in recent years that a lot more chain restaurants and chain fast food places and chain shopping centers have been put in instead of the mom and pop shops that she grew up with around this area. So that's a big change she noticed. She also said there are 2 smoke shops, one marijuana and one cigars that have been built in the last few years very near the community. She was certain to explain that that is not something that her and her friends in the community that have been there as long as she has appreciate. So that's something that the recent laws have changed that have made a big difference in the demographics of their community as well. She stated that she worked in the lunchroom of a nearby elementary school for 28 years before retiring, and she stated that even prior to her retirement, she noticed the larger number of diverse students that were attending the school that she was in, and that's even more so now. My main conclusion was that the Lakewood Cultural Center and Belmar Public Library are the 2 main resources for cultural diversity. That is something that did surprise me a little bit. I thought because of the diverse group of people that are in Lakewood and continue to come to Lakewood, there would be more options for them and opportunities for them to explore different cultures or find some home and some comfort in their culture. Most surrounding areas are filled with restaurants and shopping malls, and like I said, most of those are the bigger chain places. Very few of them are mom and pop shops that have been around for a while. Also, especially because of my interview with a community member, the Lakewood area has changed a lot in the past years from ranching area to suburbia and home to many diverse families from all over the state and country. So that's a big change coming from people that were native to, especially Colorado, to people that are not native even to the United States. So that's a big change in who the population is in the Lakewood area. Something that I would like to do is provide my students with the ability to learn about different cultures. While the Lakewood Cultural Center and Belmar are great resources to have, they're not that many. You can only visit them each so many times before hearing the same thing over and over again. And this just opened my eyes to the idea that I need to be the one to provide these opportunities in class. And not only for the Spanish and Latino students, but for students that are from all over the world. So thank you for taking this tour with me.